Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Building cloud-native applications with .NET 8 is an exciting endeavor, especially with the advancements introduced in the latest version of .NET. At .NET CONF 2023, several topics related to building cloud-native apps were discussed, including microservices architecture, deployment strategies, and leveraging cloud services. Here's an informative tutorial to help you get started with building cloud-native applications using .NET 8. Prerequisites. 1. .NET 8 SDK. Make sure you have the .NET 8 SDK installed. You can download it from the official .NET website, https://.net.microsoft.com/download. 2. IDE. Use Visual Studio 2022 or later, with .NET 8 support, or Visual Studio Code. 3. Docker. Install Docker if you plan to containerize your application. 4. Azure account. If you intend to deploy to Azure, create an Azure account. Step 1. Creating a new .NET 8 Web API project. Start by creating a new Web API project. Open your terminal or command prompt and run the following command. Bash. .NET New Web API and Cloud Native App. This command creates a new Web API project named Cloud Native App. Step 2. Understanding the project structure. Navigate into the project directory. Bash. cd Cloud Native App. You will see a few key files and folders. Controllers. This folder contains your API controllers. Program.cs. This is the entry point of your application. AppSettings.json. Configuration settings for your application. Step 3. Building a simple API. We'll create a simple API for managing tasks. Open the controllers folder and create a new file named taskscontroller.cs. Sharp. Using Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.MVC. Namespace Cloud Native App.Controllers. API Controller. Root, Controller. Public Class Tasks Controller, Controller Base. Private Static List String Tasks equals new list string. HTTP GET. Public IAction Result Get Asks. Return OK, Tasks. HTTP Post. Public IAction Result Create Task, from Body String Task. Tasks.add, Task. Return created at action, name of, get asks, new task equals task. Step 4, running the application locally. To run your application locally, execute the following command. Bash. .NET Run. Your API will start on http://localhost 5000. You can test it using tools like Postman or curl. Step 5, containerizing the application. To build cloud-native apps, you often need to containerize your application. Create a file named Dockerfile in the root of your project. Dockerfile. Use the official .NET image as a base. From mcr.microsoft.com/.net/ASP.NET:8.0 as base. Workdir/app. Expose 80. From mcr.microsoft.com/.net/SDK:8.0 as build. Workdir/src. Copy Cloud Native App /Cloud Native App.xproj, Cloud Native App / Run .NET Restore Cloud Native App /Cloud Native App.xproj. Copy. Workdir/src /Cloud Native App. Run .NET Build Cloud Native App.xproj AC release o/app/build. From build as publish. Run .NET Publish Cloud Native App.xproj AC release o/app/publish. From base as final. Workdir/app. Copy from equals publish/app/publish. Entrypoint.net, cloudnativeapp.dll. Step 6, Building and running the Docker container. You can build and run your Docker container using the following commands. Bash. Build the Docker image. Docker build tcloudnative app. Run the Docker container. Docker run dp8080:80 cloudnative app. Now your application should be accessible at http://localhost 8080. Step 7, Deploying to Cloud, Azure. To deploy your application to Azure, you can use Azure App Service or Azure Kubernetes Service, AKS. Here's a simple deployment to Azure App Service. 1. Login to Azure. Bash. AZ login. 2. Create a resource group. Bash. AZ group create name my resource group location East US. 3. Create an app service plan. Bash. AZ app service plan create name my app service plan resource group my resource group SKUB1 is Linux. 4. Create a web app. Bash. AZ web app create resource group my resource group plan my app service plan name my unique app name runtime.net 8.0. 5. Deploy your application. You can deploy your app using the following command. Bash. AZ web app up name my unique app name resource group my resource group. Conclusion. You have successfully created a simple cloud-native application using .NET 8, containerized it with Docker, and deployed it to Azure. This is just the beginning of what you can accomplish with cloud-native applications. Consider exploring more advanced topics such as monitoring, logging, and using cloud-native services like Azure Functions, Cosmos DB, or Azure Service Bus. Next steps. 1. Explore microservices, learn how to break your application into microservices. 2. Implement CI/CD, set up continuous integration and continuous deployment, CI/CD, for your application. 3. Use Azure Services, leverage Azure Services for databases, queues, and more. Resources. .NET 8 documentation, https://docs.microsoft.com/n-a/.net/core. Azure documentation, https://docs.microsoft.com/n-a/azure. Docker documentation, https://docs.docker.com. This tutorial provides a foundation for building cloud-native applications with .NET 8. As you dive deeper, you'll discover more features and best practices that will enhance your development experience. Happy coding!